Okay, YouTube, we're back for another workout video today. This is day 2 of the athletic rebuild. So what this means, basically, we're trying to rebuild our athleticism after an 8-week layoff. We haven't trained properly for 8 weeks. We trained a little bit, but not very much or very good intensity because it wasn't my main focus. My main focus was just traveling, so we haven't focused on training. When you do that, you're not going to make much progress. So we actually went backwards a little bit, to be expected, but I don't think it'll take long to get back to where I was. So today on the cards, we got a little bit of Plyos. We're going to do some hops to get nice and warmed up, get medium intense Plyos back in. Haven't done them in ages, so we could get back hopping. Then we're going to do some jump variation. We're going to do broad jumps, just probably no max effort ones, just jumping horizontally, trying to get my body back into that movement. And then we're going to do some Zercher Bulgarian split squats, Zercher lateral squats, then maybe some hip work to finish. But yeah, we're excited to get going, and we'll just get right into it. We're going to go right into our medium intense plyos, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay, we're on to our medium intense plyometric work today. We are doing hops. So we did a little warm up there. We just did a normal dynamic warm up, just getting the body warm, a few runs and all that. And then we did some lighter hops, just doing them all in different directions. Extensive plyos, 20 reps each variation, just getting ankles warm, getting my body used to these fast kind of movements. And now we're going into the medium intense plyos, which will be I just call them medium hops. It's basically just bridging the gap between the extensive plyos, so like the light plyos, and the high intense plyos, or the jumps. Just that middle ground. Something that's very important to work on that people don't work on enough. So that's what we're doing with these. Just trying to work on rhythm, coordination, a little bit of being nice and quick off the floor as well. That's what I like to do with these medium intense plyos. So that's what we're doing these medium hops. So we're going to do 3 sets of 8 reps. Normally just rest around 30 seconds between each set. Don't need full recovery for these because these aren't max intent ones. So it's more just to work on that rhythm, as I said. So we don't need absolute max recovery. 30 seconds is normally enough. And yeah. We just every set, we just try and get a little bit further with each rep, just increase that intensity just a little bit. We're going to go into our second hop variation, medium intense one. We're going to do hop, hop, bound. These are really good for trying to transition from the hop into the bound, because we still do some hopping and bounding at the same time. So I like this variation for that. Okay, we're done with our medium intense plyos, medium intense hops. Feeling good, nice and warmed up now. Feeling a bit more springy. So now we're going to go into our jump variation of the day. It's going to be broad jumps. We're not going to go max effort ones because this is only the second day we're coming back. So from having a long layoff, so we don't want to do max intent ones yet. I don't think it'll be very good anyway. So the aim is just to see how they go. We're not going to measure anything. Normally I would measure it with a tape measure to drive that intent into the exercise, but because we're just coming back, the numbers probably won't be that good. I don't want to demotivate myself by having terrible numbers. So I just want to get back into the swing of things, get back my body used to doing these broad jumps. Then next week we'll start measuring again. So yeah, there probably won't be any max intent ones here. Probably just be like, I guess a medium intense, just whatever I can do. Lucky because we have some slabs here, so we're just going to gradually try and get further and further by using the slabs. So I know where I started from. And then each jump, we're just going to try and get further and further. We're going to do 3 sets of 3 with these. Normally I would do single reps, because if you're doing a max effort jump, you want enough rest in between it before you do the next max effort jump. Normally rest like 30 to 60 seconds in between each jump. Normally 60 seconds is better, because that's when your body's a bit more replenished, and then you can actually do another max effort one. So because these aren't max effort, I'm just going to do sets of 3 and then just see how we go. We're trying to increase the distance now for this next set. Also a little wary. It's very slidey here. It's very icy, so I don't want to be sliding and banging my arse or slipping and pulling a muscle or anything like that. So that's why I'm also not doing any max intent ones. Once I'm back in a gym and we have a better surface, we'll be able to do them properly. But just for now, just working out here at my home gym. And as I said, it's really icy, so I don't want to be slipping and hurting anything. So I'm just going to do one more set of these. Feels good to get back into them. They don't feel very powerful at all. But I guess that's what it's going to be like after 8 weeks off. So we just need to get back into the rhythm of it, get my nervous system back knowing what we're doing, get my muscles back knowing. I'm pretty sore after we played five-a-sides on Thursday night. Obviously all that change of direction, quick kind of accelerations, my hips, groins, everything's feeling tight, which is normal. Which is still a good thing. It's good to be sore sometimes, especially after a long layoff. You got to expect that and you got to deal with that, and then just try and train around it. So as long as I'm not feel like I'm going to injure myself, I'm just going to keep going and going until I'm back to where I was before. The edge felt a bit better, but what I'm trying to do this first week is not trying to do too much. I'm trying to actually undershoot this week, to be honest. I'm just doing not as little as possible to get the gains, but just not as much. It's probably not going to cause an adaptation in my body because I'm not trying to overshoot. I'm just trying to undershoot, really. Just because I'm trying to get back into it. I'm not really focused on trying to improve anything right now. It's just about getting my body back used to these movements again. And then in the next couple of weeks, we'll start pushing more and more and more. Every week, we'll just do a little bit more volume, a little bit higher intensity. Then we'll just take it from there, just gradually increase it until I'm back to where I was. Then we can start pushing on again and getting more athletic. We're going to go into the gym now. So we've done our little athletic stuff, the hops, the jumps, and now we're going to go do in the gym. We're going to do some single leg Zerchers, Bulgarians, and then some lateral squats, and then a little bit of accessories, probably some hip work. Then that'll be us for the day. Nothing too crazy again, just getting the body moving, getting back into training. Okay, we're on to our main strength lift of the day. It's the Zercher Bulgarians. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. These are going to be brutal. I already did the warm-up sets. They already feel difficult. We're going to do either 2 or 3 sets of 5. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how the first set goes. Normally, when I do single leg exercises, you always feel the legs differently than bilateral. It's really hard to explain. I feel muscles I don't feel when I do bilateral ones. So yeah, I don't want to absolutely kill myself because this is Saturday, so Monday I'm going to try and do a sprint session. So I don't want my legs to be absolutely messed up for that. As I said, the goal this week is just to get back into it. So we might just do 2 sets of 5, which maybe sounds like super low volume, but to be honest, that's what I'm trying to do. As I said, trying to undershoot a little bit, just get my legs back into it. They're already sore, so I don't want to absolutely wreck my legs, especially if I'm going to do some sprints on Monday, because I want to be as fresh as possible for them. So yeah. It's a relatively light load too. We're only doing 80 kilo for 5. Beforehand I was doing at least 100 for 5, so it's not too heavy either. But I feel it, obviously with these, it's always difficult because you're always doing double the reps. So when you say you're doing 5 reps, you're actually doing 10 because you're doing each leg. So yeah, you get way more out of breath, which is bad. My cardio's poor right now as well. So, but yeah, they were quite difficult. I'll do one more set, see how my legs are feeling. If I feel like I want to do more, I will. I always feel single leg exercises are great because you feel them more, especially in the groin. I feel it quite a lot, which is a good thing. Yeah, as I said, you just feel different muscles than you do with bilateral movements. So that's why we like them in the program. I think a lot of people underestimate how good they are as well, and they end up doing them as only the secondary exercise when they can actually be a great primary movement. Especially when you load it up heavy enough, it can actually just about the same kind of benefits as bilateral does. The only issue is you can't go as heavy as you do with bilateral lifts, but you can still get a pretty sick stimulus out of it, especially if you're already doing 1 heavy bilateral lift a week. Do you really need to be doing 2? Depends if you really want to push your squat, if you want to push that bilateral lift, but sometimes it's a good idea because it's less load on the body with the single leg movements than it is with the bilateral movements, so you're getting less overall loads during the week, which can sometimes be a good thing because you can go one day super heavy with the bilateral, it's high load in the body, and it kind of doesn't wreck your nervous system, but it works nervous system a bit more, which is a good thing. And then the second day, it means that, because sometimes when I do squats twice a week, on the second squat day, my leg, it's not just my legs are quite tired, but also my nervous system's quite tired, so I can't go as heavy. Obviously I need to go lighter, which sometimes isn't a bad thing, but when you're doing single leg movements, it's not as fatiguing on the nervous system, so it means you can go load it up pretty heavy and still get a very good heavy strength stimulus, rather than if you're just doing bilateral movements, you can't go as heavy as you were on the first day, so sometimes it's a bit lighter, so that's why sometimes it's better to do a single leg version on the second leg day, because you can still go super heavy and get a really good strength stimulus on the legs compared to if you're doing 2 bilateral days. Don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but maybe I didn't explain it very well. I'll try to explain it better later. I'm pretty fatigued right now, so from that. So yeah, we'll just get into one more set, and then we'll see how we feel. Maybe do a third. Okay, here we go. Second set. See how this goes. 5 reps again. We're going to raw dog it with our arms for the Zerchers. Actually feels better in the bare arms than it does with that jumper on. Feels good. Left leg always feels a bit stronger than my right. They actually felt way more comfortable in the first set, which is a good thing. I think it's just getting my body getting back used to the movement again. And once it does, it'll be nice and easy. We can start loading it up more in the coming weeks. But yeah, that felt good. We're going to do one more set. Don't feel too bad. Legs feel okay, so I'll do one more set. Then move on to our secondary weightlifting exercise. Okay, they were a good solid 3 sets of 5 reps of Bulgarian split squats. A lot of people hate the Bulgarian split squats. I actually enjoy them as an exercise. I don't know, you feel good after doing it. Your muscles feel really pumped. I think it's one of the best glute builders I've ever used. I always feel it so much more in my hamstrings and my glutes than I do my quads. I think that's because obviously there's 2 different variations you can do of the Zercher Bulgarians, or the Bulgarian split squat anyway. You can do it closer to the bench, and that works a little bit more the quad work, but I like to take my feet a little bit further away and work more on the glutes and the hamstrings with my Zercher with the Bulgarians, because I feel with my back squats, what I do on the first day and the first session, I feel way more in my quads because I kind of have a narrower kind of stance with them, so I feel it way more in my quads than I do I don't really feel it at all in my glutes and my hamstrings. So that's why on this kind of day I like to not focus a little bit more on them, but work on them a little bit more on this kind of exercise, so they're still getting a good heavy strength stimulus. I also do RDLs as well, which kind of work them also, but obviously because when you're playing sports, a lot of the sprinting action is through the glutes and the hamstrings more. I think one of the jumping exercises are a little bit more with quad dominant, especially standing jumps, even running jumps. I feel a lot more in my quads as well, so it's good to have a variation of doing both. And I think especially when you play sports, a lot of your playing and training is sprinting and running, so it's good to have the glutes and hamstrings nice and strong, and that's why I like to do the Zerchers in that way. But obviously if I wanted to work more on my quads, I would take my leg a little bit closer to the bench and I would work a little bit more of them. But yeah, so now we're going to go into our Zercher lateral squats. I think Zercher variations are just the best for these kind of exercises because one, you can easily progressively overload them, easier than like a dumbbell. I hate holding a dumbbell in my hand when I'm trying to do this exercise because, well, I normally do 40 kilo for the lateral squats. I could probably do more, but just to get a nice stretch in the on the groins and hips and that, I'm just trying to get nice and deep into that. But holding a 40 kilo dumbbell is way harder than holding a bar in between your elbows. So that's why I like using the Zercher variation for these kind of exercises rather than a dumbbell, because I just feel like it's so much harder to hold that dumbbell. So yeah, we're going to do 2 sets of 10 reps, so 5 reps each leg, and then we're going to go do some hip work. I'm not sure what exercise yet. Don't know if I have the room or the equipment to do that, but if not, we'll find another exercise to do. But yeah, we'll get into these. So yeah, we're just going to try and get a nice wide stance. Hips are really tight right now because of football. So I don't know how long I'm going to get into them. Let's see. Try and get, normally, try and get our elbow touch my knee and then come up. These always feel amazing in my hips. I always feel nice and loose after doing these. That's why I really enjoy doing this exercise. I think the best way, well, not the best way to improve your mobility, especially if you want to really focus on your mobility and your flexibility, you probably need to be doing some more stretching and all that kind of stuff. But if you're someone like me, plays sports, does main goal is to get stronger, faster, jump higher, get fitter, I don't really care about my mobility and flexibility that much. It's just like a side effect of doing this stuff. Then I think full range of motion strength training is one of the best ways to work on your mobility, especially because it's basically just a loaded stretch. This exercise, lateral squats, is just a loaded stretch. So you don't really need to. I never do anything specifically for my mobility or my flexibility, as I said, because it's not my goal. I don't really care that much about it as long as I'm pretty flexible enough to be able to do all this athletic things I want to do, and I am. I don't need to particularly work on it. And I think these kind of exercises, Zercher lateral squats, are great for opening up the hips, the groins. It's just a loaded stretch, as I said. RDLs are basically just a loaded stretch. So I mean, again, a great exercise. And even full range of motion back squats, great exercise for the hips. Getting nice and low to the ground, loaded again, and then back up again. It's just finding ways to do full range of motion, loaded exercises is all you need for your mobility. If you're someone like me who doesn't really care about your getting more flexible, so stuff like that. RDL, Zercher lateral squats, full range of motion deep squats, even like calf raises, full range of motion calf raises are great for that ankle mobility. You know, getting that heel underneath the step when you're doing it, coming up, just great for the ankle mobility. Stuff like that. Just working on full range of motion stuff is great for your mobility. It's all that most people need. Unless your goal is flexibility, but if not, that's all you need to do. So we're going to do one more set of these, and then we will do some other accessory work. Struggling to get any secondary or accessory leg exercises we can do in this gym, so we're just going to do some ab rollouts. Haven't done any ab work this week, so we're going to do some of that. At least we're getting some abs in before we finish. Yeah, that's one of the one things I miss about having, well, when I don't go to a public gym, because I don't have enough equipment. Really, all I have is the barbells. I have some dumbbells, but not very good. So yeah, I don't have enough equipment to do much, but it's enough to do a decent workout. Especially a barbell, you can get so much done with that. But sometimes I want to hit these smaller muscles. Like I've already done my calves. I wanted to do my hips, but I haven't really got anything to do that with. So I was going to do the hip sit-ups, but don't really have anything to hold my feet down. I can't do the cable knee drives, which is one of my favorite, probably my favorite hip exercise, but can't do that here. So we'll just get some abs, and we haven't done that anyway. So we're going to do 2 more sets of these, and that's going to be us. It doesn't look like much of a session, or that I'm doing that much, but that's kind of all you need when you're trying to be like a hybrid kind of athlete, working on different things. You know, my main aim is to get stronger, faster, and jump higher. That's my 3 main goals. So doing all this junk volume, I don't need to do tons and tons of junk volume. I need to get some hit quality reps, and trying to improve every week. So And it's been working for me. Like I did a 10-week block before my holiday, and I was getting so much stronger. I was jumping further with broad jumps. I was jumping way further than I was before. I was getting faster as well. So like minimum effective dose kind of training does work, and you don't need to do loads and loads of volume every session and absolutely ruin yourself to make some really good progress, especially when you're kind of a hybrid athlete looking at different kind of goals. So yeah, that's us done for the day. I'm not going to film the last two ab reel rollouts because that's will be us done. Another good session, another nothing too crazy again, just some plyos, jumps, lifting. That's basically what most of my lower body days look like. Next week I might, like, that's all you really need to do, some plyos, jumps, and then some strength work. Next week we might do a little bit, change it up a little bit. We're going to do a sprint day, which we haven't done a proper sprint day in a while, so it'll be good to get back into that. Probably just do some short accelerations and then some tempo runs to get some further strides into the body, and then we'll do some 2 lowers and 2 uppers as well, and maybe an arm day if we have time. But yeah, overall good start to the week. Good first week back for me, 4 sessions in total and a 5-a-side session, so that's all I ever needed. And now I feel like next week I can maybe push a little bit more, increase that volume slightly, increase the intensity a little bit, and then just keep doing that for weeks on weeks until I'm back to where I was, and then we keep trying to push our athleticism from there. So yeah, thank you for watching again. If you have any questions or comments, put them down in the comment section, and yeah, I'll see you next time.